Hey, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Before start, I just want to tell you some data points on the IT workforce globally. The global IT service market size is projected to reach 1,268 billion, and in 2020, 40% of the US IT workforce is contractors. In 2020, when it would be 50-50, that means 50% will be always contractors. And there is 200% increase in remote anywhere jobs on US market itself. That means, if you want to work with a US company, we can work from anywhere, from Asia or Africa or Latin America. So post-COVID situation, 50% of the employees will continue work remotely, and 1 in 3 remote workers would be freelancers. So I just showed some data. So here is my story. So I was into IT services for around 16 years. I founded 2 companies in the past, and both companies were acquired by a Chicago-based company called Netrix in 2017. So I have around 16 years in the service, in the experience in service business. So during this time, frequently I have faced situations of clients demanding quality resources within few days time, up to a week, but current sourcing timelines are in months. So this resulted in loss of business or client dissatisfaction. After some initial research, we have found that this problem is a universal problem and faced by many companies worldwide. And I checked with my friends and the network, and they also you know told me that this is the same issue they are also facing. So what is the problem with the tech sourcing today? For example, if you consider the global scenario, a business in Silicon Valley, high resource cost for local resources. Each resource can cost up to 150K USD. Too much time and effort spent on hiring process. Average time to hire is 1 to 2 months, 8 to 10 interviews plus hire, 20 candidates screened per hire. So on the other side, the freelancers and niche IT service providers are facing this problem. So lack of access to work with the global firms, even if you are too good in one particular technology, access to get a enterprise client is very difficult for small or medium level companies. So good talent, but lack of opportunities. So high cost of sales cost to capture global opportunities is very high. Only large providers can do this successfully. Even talent quality is similar. Current office work style disadvantages certain groups. Moms who want to care for their children take breaks up to 5 years due to lack of remote opportunities. So this is our solution. So Ellow is creating a talent marketplace where Ellow is a global talent marketplace that connects companies with pre-vetted remote engineers from hand-picked dev houses and to top quality freelancers. So this is our vetting process. We do smart sourcing. So we will find new areas where we can find hidden gems. So niche service providers, freelancers, women on break. So then is a smart screening process. We have a 4-stage screening process, which is out of that 3 stages are automated. So it starts from a resume screening, social profile screening, then automated video interview where we will find certain soft skill traits and communication skill, then code algorithm test using a platform which is also automated, then a technical interview by real human beings. So out of four process, 3 are automated. And we are creating a smart sourcing algorithm where we will match resource capabilities with the buyer requirements. So this is our why Ellow platform. So smart vetting, smart matching, and we also in the platform we provide smart tools where our buyers can manage these resources effectively. So this is how we make money. So we take a percentage of cut from each transactions. And the later stage will be starting a subscription plan for buyers, where if they have constant business, the percentage cut will be lesser for them. So this is a go-to-market strategy. So we have launched our MVP in October, and the coming months we are currently on the growth stage. We already closed 10-15 deals with the customers and started getting revenues. And in 2022 and all, this is we really want to scale and go to other markets, and this is our long-term plan. And so our competition marketplaces like Upwork, Turing, TopTal, Arc, etc., and recruitment platforms like LinkedIn, Dice, staffing vendors like Coscore, Padico, and the direct service vendors like IBM, Accenture, TCS, and all. So this is about the team and why our Ellow platform. And this is our current status. We started in June. We started building the platform, and in September we closed our first sale. And currently we have closed near to 12, 15 deals so far. And yeah, that's it. And this is about the founder. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So questions?
We'll start with Saroj.
Yeah. Yeah. I find your, I don't know the idea. I don't find it unique. I feel that you are quite late. When we see this kind of ventures, hundreds actually. When a lot of people are working, I am not able to see the differentiator. Why? Because you might have fetched a deal in June and you might have fetched 8 deals now. But actually, this is not giving us a roadmap. This is not giving a future. This is what it is actually glorifying your business to a large extent, or it will be really a money-making business, which will be you are planting a tree for that, which will the fruit will start flowing in. One thing, and second thing is, I don't know. You said also you have a 20 years experience and all, 20 years of experience, but I don't know why you started it so late. First question that. And second thing is, I'm not very clear exactly what you are looking for now. What you are looking for. If you could make a slide or make your points clear, what are that exactly you expect from this pitching? That you want a network, you need a market, you need some connection, you need some customers, you need some funding, or what? And even you need funding. Then how you want to deploy that funding? And so you might have finished it very short, but it's not very crisp. If you make your presentation which more crisp, it will be much. It will take more attention. It will bring the users will bring much more focused and give you that attention what you need actually.
Okay, got it. We are not looking for for funding at this time, because it is bootstrapped, and currently we have funds to run the business for next couple of months or a year. So not looking for funds at this time. The second thing, I was into services for 16 years, and can you tell me any giant company in the field where we have Accentures, TCS, IBMs in the world, but they all own the employees, right? TCS has more than 3.5 lakhs employees, and let's assume the biggest taxi company in the world, the Uber, doesn't have any inventory, and the Airbnb, which doesn't have any inventory at all. And but definitely TCS and IBMs of the world has to keep the inventory every time, right? 3.5 lakhs, or they'll be on 4.5 lakhs next year. So in a platform like Ellow, we never employ anyone. It's primarily we all do platform play, and we do vet each candidate, so that for buyers, the chances of finding a good quality talent is much better than in a service company than a platform like Ellow. For example, if you are running a service company, you will tell your customers that everyone in your company is good, right? Or at least they are above average. But the chances of finding a good quality talent is always in a platform like Ellow than a typical service.
No, that point is noted. That point is very well noted. That is not the point I am saying. You are very because I know few because I have invested 2-3 companies where they have got Groom and so many products which do the profile matching with respect to your. You don't need the 2 rounds of interview. It is when you are hundreds of thousands of applications. They do your social sites. They go to your a lot of other public source they vet and they come out with how much the validity and they tell you also what percentage of the CV can be reliant and all the things. But I've seen also a lot of companies who invested, like in Microsoft, they've invested a big amount of money, but nothing has actually kicked in. Nothing, when they're not, still this old process, large interviews are happening in the old process only. Most under the old process. But having said that, your idea, I'm not saying that is a very old dated, outdated, but I feel it's a very, kind of obsolete. Already the idea is there already, and a lot of people are working on this.
The only company that has scaled up maybe in the last 5-6 years is TopTal, which they have scaled up to 1,500 pre-vetted contractors, I think. But there are few companies in the US called Turing, which started 2 years back, and they recently closed 13 million funding. They are all also in the same space. But what I have seen in this space is that, if you want to do the business in a scale, you have to do the interviews in a scale, right? If you are involving human resource for every part of this interview, you can't scale. For example, if you want to do 1,000 interviews or 5,000 interviews in a month, if you are involving human resource in every part, you can scale. So for us, we are automating most of the process so that we can do interviews in a scale. I'm not sure whether it was possible in 5 years or 10 years back. That is one thing. Second, the change in the market. For example, the future of work would be boundaryless for sure. First thing, and the even post-COVID situation, companies are even ready for remote work, and they can manage things better, and they are realized that they can manage their mission critical projects using their remote resources even at this time. So the market was not ready before. I think the market is good or ready for now for this business.
Okay, this is the difference coming. I feel big outdated. You see that is very latest. Okay, Ranju, you can take it. We've understood, but there is a kind of difference. Difference still exists. You can throw some more light on that.
Just wanted to, before asking Anand, do you want to give in one line what is Ellow?
Yeah, we provide pre-vetted remote engineers you can trust.
You provide pre-vetted remote engineers on a staff model.
Exactly. Yeah? On contract. We are a platform. Yeah.
Okay. Anand, do you want to take it up? I'll come back after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, AI, using AI in hiring and recruiting and ATS, application tracking and things like that have been, done for a while. But you're right, it's a business you can still run, I think. Right. You can still run it as a business. You can still probably make money. I think the question which will come up is, in terms of your ability to, do you want to run it as a consulting business, or are you looking down the road to probably looking for, an exit or things like that? That's where I think things will get a little challenging, I believe. Right now, in the past, so this was in 2010. So we developed, we call it a validated talent pool, right? So you're calling it a vetted talent pool, right? So yeah, so the naming convention has changed, but obviously, the AI and ML and everything else you're using probably is your bang for the buck, right? But and I think, in my opinion, if you're doing this, if you look at a very specific segment which you're targeting, then I think you will probably find it a better value proposition. What I mean by a segment is contracted engineers in the area of, let's say, deep learning, or contracted engineers in the area of visioning, patterning, very specific. Then you may end up having decent traction. Otherwise, there are people like even Talio and DDI and quite a few of those big chaps are all working on this right now. I don't know where they are. Have they done it? Have they not done it? I've not been in touch with that space for a while. About 10 years back, I used to. Right, but it's a very it's a low-hanging fruit kind of a model, which is good, right? It has its own pros and cons. So you will get business, right? You will have traction because the pie is large. But I think the problem will kick in terms of a longer-term strategy, right? You can run it as a great consulting business, probably on a lot of money too. Then comes the question of how do you plan to keep going on this, right? I think that's where probably figuring out a differentiation strategy will be important. Again, that's my thought. I've seen TurboHire, I've seen quite a few of those types of tools which actually use AI and ML. Maybe your contracted engineers is probably part of a part differentiation. I don't know. I don't know enough of the space to talk about, but I think something to keep in mind, right? So if you go niche, and there are many other companies like MindMonk and others who are actually going the other side of this, where they're saying, what, none of these vetted models work. You should probably do just-in-time vetting using experiential problem solving and things like that, right? So that's another potential complementer for your model. Again, that's just my perspective.
Thank you, Anand. And we want to run this business as a scale business than a lifestyle business. But usually, the staffing or contract business was there for last in IT for last 20, 30 years. But they nobody has innovated the staffing business or a contract business. So we try to innovate the contract business.
But
that is first
Jyoti,
thing.
your business is basically contracting, and whatever tool you use and you use AI to it is a process to vet internally, correct?
But contracting companies are not vetting. They are just looking to the resume and asking, hey, have you worked on this? Have you worked on this? And they provide. Actually, the interview is done by the client only, not the contracting staffing company. Staffing company is not doing technical interviews, right? Usually, maybe they do some basic interviews, but not the 3 or 4 rounds of interviews. Primarily, it's the job of the client. So primarily, what if we are eliminating
I'd
lot
like
of
to
time?
get Vijay to talk about it, because part of his IT services business, he also does some bit of contracting. So how do you want to respond to that, Vijay?
Well, definitely we have to interview like when you hire somebody, right? Like, so I know Jyotish personally. So he's a friend of mine actually. So that's how I brought him into this. Can you come again? What was the question?
I'm asking your business opinion.
No, I mean,
ask it because of a friend. Give what's the take? I mean, as a company who has to hire contractors, he's saying it's the client who decides on the hiring, and a contract service provider has very little role to play, is how he's saying it. So that is a differentiator he's saying. So is that the differentiator?
Exactly what he said is right. Like, if you want to hire somebody, even okay, if somebody is bringing, as of now, if I am approaching some talent agencies to get, for example, a React developer, which right now I'm looking for, definitely we have our own process to interview them and then take them in. So actually, even if the talent agency is coming and saying, okay, we have interviewed them, this is a good candidate, I can't just blindly take them in. So that's my take actually. So here, if Jyotish can come up with a convincing method, like a convincing proof that okay, this candidate has gone through this sort of steps. Okay, this candidate talent pool is vetted, like he says, like with any sort of like AIML or whatever solution he uses, and shows me that okay, he has cleared this sort of interviews or task, then probably that makes my life easier to hire somebody, any contract staffs. That's my take on
Right.
it.
Vijay, let me tell you a real life story. As I said, we have offered a job to a candidate who is drawing 75,000, and now he is getting 2.25 lakhs. That is just 3 times of his last salary, and he is directly working with the US startup. And he's, out of that, we are billing them some $25, and finally he is getting $20 through our platform. And platform is taking care of, and for their platform is taking care of the contractual background checks, even the timesheets, everything. In terms of salary, what he was getting 1 month back. So that is the change what we are making in this market.
Okay.
Got it. I'm sure there are takers for this.
Just
definitely there. Go ahead.
Just 30 seconds, my experience. I had invested a company, okay. In that invested the company, they had exactly similar thing, a product called Groom, and we had signed a contract with Manpower Group. Manpower Group is a very large group. They are employed around 400,000 people across the country. And we spent almost 7 crore to develop the product, so that exactly similarly, so that in the contracting stuff, it gets screened. And we get, actually we were able to filter out the large part. We did this because with the, not only this only picks up, that it picks up the words, it matches with the social network, it goes to the sites, it does everything, and to actually 2-3 rounds of interview, you are able to screen it, and how much in the written in the CV is a fact it will throw, what is the percentage of the genuinity it will throw, and what are the knowledge actually the guy understands it will throw. All that was worked on that. But we also sold it to Manpower Group, and they started using it. But only we could go only some 100, 200, 300. After that, we could not take it up. It was really tough. Whereas in Microsoft brought a similar product, but they use it for their own recruitment. They don't sell outside. It similarly has Amazon has. But I don't know whether it is an outsider. Because you see, in my experience, we fail doesn't mean that you need to fail or you will fail. But you have to be a bit careful while what Anand said, when you come to scaling up, when you do hundreds and thousands. And unless you do hundreds and thousands, the business will not pay off.
Right. That is true. We have to do in scale.
Correct.
Well, the scale part is primarily customer dependent, right? He gets customer query, he has to support with hiring. And whatever the AI part he is talking about and the part is an internal process. In fact, no matter what internal process you may have, in fact, many of the large customers will actually come in and look at the process, and they may even add, subtract, whatever. They will have a final say how and what they want. So this is where, if you're trying to productize your process in a service business, which is dependent on the customer call, there is a bunch of challenges. And the challenge is that what customer wants. So it's an internal process you're trying to productize. Usually what is good to be productized is what is external, what happens at the customer end. So if you have this proposition, just look at it, whatever you're trying to do internally, if you can put that as a module that goes into their system, a customer system. In fact, this is something similar to what Saroj's invested portfolio company was doing also, right? That they were trying to offer it, which goes in and sits and works out of their database. So one is, there are quite a few of such companies. In fact, Anand also mentioned companies like that. But then the moment you are sitting and operating in a customer's system and digging into their database, then it opens up a different Pandora of challenges and issues. There it comes down to what is ethical in terms of the rules that you define, right? I mean, when I refer to as rules, as what do you call it? Algorithms, right? and how do you define it, and how do you ensure that it does not filter out marriageable girl or a married woman before child, after child, or if she is in the family way. Too many complexities, right? And hiring actually comes into address a lot of these complexities. And the all that negative attention that AI in hiring is attracting is about how it treats human beings, what kind of biases, right? I mean, I'm only talking about male, female from an India context, right? In fact, recently there were issues of Indians working for global companies in US talking about they were not getting promoted because they come from a lower caste. Where did the caste come into play here, right? Working in US. So there are a lot of technology and a lot of processes that predetermine these things, right? So when you talk about pre-screen, what is the term you use for pre-screen? Something similar, right?
Pre-vetted.
So that vetting, screening, all this comes with an element of bias. What is the acceptable bias is also acceptable from that organization standpoint and the playground that they are operating in. Because what is a crime or not a crime in India versus elsewhere? So it is too many complexities. So if you want to address it, you probably have to address whole lot of these things. And how did you get your first customer? You said you got a customer and you have 15, 16 customers. What were their questions? I'm just curious whether did these things come about at all, and why did they choose you versus somebody else?
Nanju, actually, out of 15 customers, 15 deals within 5-6 customers. That's all. 15 positions closed. Out of that, 14 are from India only, because we haven't started to market to the international market because we are still building our database here. So it's only one US deal and 14 Indian deals. In most of the Indian deals, the match was very easy. We provide the resume, they interviewed, and the chances of failure was only 30-40%. For companies, for example, some product companies in the US, their expectation is much higher than what the service companies here in India is looking for. They are looking for people with good algorithm skills, code test, and even cultural fit kind of thing. So what, as a platform, what we are doing is, there are a lot of process these people itself are doing. Like they definitely test the algorithm test or code test that we are doing from ourselves and just showing the result. For example, and that is not biased at all. Why? Because it is decided by a system. Because this code test are all the tests are all decided by the system itself. No human being is involved in it. So we are just putting the result and telling that this is what we vetted, and you can see whether you have to hire this guy or not. That is your decision at all. We are just we are only doing platform play. Decision is yourself. This is his test result. This is his communication skill test result. This is this. Okay, and finally you can decide whether to hire or not. So we will only do platform play. Then, usually in service companies, they first come to service company. These companies are all doing all these things, and they are claiming that their people are good. But here we are not telling that they are good or not, but this is purely a platform play.
So Nanju basically is trying to build something like this Hacker Earth kind of a platform, or CodeChef, like ThoughtWorks and all hires through those sort of platforms, right? The tech, especially tech talents. Once they
Vijay, we are not building those platforms at this time of our stage because we are just partnering with them. We don't want to, because these Hacker Earth and Hacker Ranks of the world are already in the market for 10 years. They are optimized and they are good. We don't want to compete with them. We just partner with them. And for Quota, we are using Hacker Earth, and we integrate in your platform.
Yeah. For the time being, you're using it, right? And the plan is to build something like that, right?
Yes, in later stage, maybe in later stage, but that is not necessary at all. As a car company, you have to only build platform, engine and gearbox. Nothing, other you can all outsource, right?
No. Basically, you pre-vet in your terms, right? Some set of profiles, give access to your client to go through and pick whoever they want to.
Yes. we are doing most of the work that they have to do. And finally, we are giving this candidate out of that they can select. Of course, they want to interview, but the chance that we are reducing the time of finding a good quality resource is from a weeks to 1 or 2 days.
Okay. What's the biggest customer client you have? I mean, if it's okay to name.
We have RCG Global Services, which is a US company with 150 million turnover. That is a mid-level service company. And we are working with a small startup from US, directly from US as well.
Well, Jyotis, okay, let's, before we move to next, I think I can connect you to a few of the staffing heads of some large companies, right? You take your proposition, go to them, talk to them. I think that would be the best way to test it out, because they hire hundreds and thousands of people in a year. So let's see how they view it, because I think like Saroj, I'm not fully convinced, or I'm not getting full clarity of it, except that you're saying that you're different. In my experience, every damn recruiting company tells they're different, and their business and their life is primarily to make our life easy, right? If you have to hire somebody. So this is the standard thing. So proof of the pudding is in eating it. And in your case, it's best, maybe connect with me later on. I'll connect you to some of these guys. And you talk to them and see how do they view it. If they get convinced about this, and I think that's the best thing that can happen to you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.